Hello you! As you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm planning to hike the Appalachian Trail in 2024. And if you've watched any of my gear reviews, you'll know that I'm still considering what equipment I need to take with me. I've got a few tents that are under consideration. First of all, I've got a tent called the Akto by Hilleberg. I've had this tent for over 20 years. Another tent that I bought just last year was this Tigerwall UL by Big Agnes. I had the opportunity to take this out. You can watch the video and I'll put a link just up here. The third tent that I got, and this was just the other day, about 3 months ago, was Gossamer Gear's The 2. I had the first opportunity of setting this up the other day, and in this video we're going to look at that first setup and what I think are some of the good features of this tent. Before we have a look at my first attempt at setting this tent up, let's have a look at the tent as I've packed it down. So the advertised dimensions of the pack tent are 11 by 5 inches. In fact, I think it's slightly larger than that, but if you give it a bit of a squeeze, it probably goes even smaller. The tent is advertised to weigh 667 grams. That includes the 4 corner guys and the 2 ridge guys. There are 2 optional guys that weigh 7 grams each to pull the sides out and give you a bit more room inside the tent, which I think that anyone would probably want to take with them. And there's also a clothesline which I will be taking with me, and that weighs 5.8 grams. The stuff stack for the stakes weighs 4 grams, and the stakes that come with the tent weigh 11 grams each, and there's 8 of those. But I've swapped those out for the MSR Groundhog stakes. I saw Hayes doing this to his the one tent, and it looked like a good idea. So the idea is that the bathtub doesn't seem to have anything to tie it down. You wouldn't want to take some stakes with you to hold it down there, and using a bit of elasticated cord here and enabling it to tie around the pegs that you've got on there holds it around from flapping. So I'm just tying it on one end, a loop in the other. And then it can stretch over the peg, and it doesn't matter how far out you have that peg, because it's got the elastic on it, and that seems to hold it out nicely there. And I'm going to do that on all four corners. So I think for a first attempt at pitching that tent, I did quite well. It didn't take very long there. I've never had it up before, and I'm quite happy with that. When I bought this, I bought the Polycro ground sheet with it. I'm not sure how good it will be, and I'll probably take it anyway in conjunction with the silver mat that I bought. And that's just a silver picnic type mat. It's very thin and it's insulated, and I think that will protect the bottom of the tent a lot more than the Polycro. I quite like the adjusters on the cord here. You just pull on one side, adjust it to release it, you just lift that flap up, and of course on these ones you can completely undo it there. I think my Lecky carbon poles really work well with this tent here. They're quite long and adjustable, so I've got them at 52 inches for this setup here, and they can go taller than that if needed. I like the fact that there are two zippers on the door. If you want to get something outside, you can just open that one and get your arm out of here. The zips are quite good. You can go all the way around one-handed now that I've held the corners down with the elastic. Prior to that, it lifted up at the bottom here, and I needed to use two hands. All of the door retaining straps are elasticated and seem quite good quality. I'm somewhere between 5'10" and 5'11" tall, and in this tent, with my head on one end touching the bathtub wall, I've got maybe 7 or 8 inches just at the bottom of my feet there. It does have quite a lot of width to this tent. I wouldn't imagine you would really want to stick 2 people in it. You'd have to be quite close there if I get over there. Although I'm not particularly tall, just 5'10" or 11, this tent does seem quite roomy in the head height there. I'm not in the middle, there's the middle, so sitting up straight, I've got a good 5 or 6 inches there above my head, and that gets a bit more as you sit over to the sides. I'm sitting right in the middle here. All of the joints are nicely seamed. You don't need to do anything with those. They're watertight as soon as you get them. The 2 has these 2 mesh pockets either side of the tent. I've heard reviews where people are complaining that they're not up by the head end, but actually I quite like them there. Doesn't matter which way up you lay in the tent, you're able to get access to both of those. I bought a gear net and I'm going to see if I can work out where to fit that now. So I'm really not quite sure where this is supposed to go. It was the one listed with the 2. When I bought it, it said, do I want to buy the gear net? You know, it certainly doesn't reach from one side to the other. There's only the 2 fixings right at the very top there. Otherwise you'd have to put it on these door straps. So what I've done there is I've used the I suppose it's a clothesline that they give you to tie it onto that. I think that's probably the way forwards for it. So if you know how to attach that gear net to the 2, then let me know in the comments below. I'd be really grateful for any advice on that one. Ventilation looks pretty good. You've got this mesh bit at the end here. Unlike I've seen in the Z-Packs style tents, they seem to have a shelf there. I know that some people like to rest their socks or whatever on that, but I'm hoping that gear net will allow me to ventilate my clothes overnight and let them dry out. One of the things I like about this tent is that you've got these vestibules, one on either side. So if you were sleeping 2 people in it, you could get out without disturbing the other person, or you've got plenty of room to keep any wet gear and air that off to dry while you're asleep. The vestibules are really quite large. There, you could fit lots of gear in there. The only trouble is with them is it's quite tricky to reach hold of that zipper. It's almost at my full arm's length there to be able to open up or close the tent down. You almost have to sit out on the grass. I'm really happy with the way the tent went up. I think the quality of build is really good. The seams seem to be very strong. The materials are good quality. They look quite thin, but actually appear quite tough as well. There's no seam in the bathtub floor, so I'm not worried that water will start getting in. And for the mat underneath, although the floor material seems quite thin, I'm not worried that I might perforate that. I'm pleased with the size inside, although I would have liked a few more inches in length, but wouldn't we all? Overall, I'm really pleased with the tent. It does have quite a large footprint size, but other than that, I think this one will do me quite well on the AT. I'm going to put the tent down now. I think it will go down a bit quicker than it went up, but I think with a bit more practice I'll be able to get it up in just a couple of minutes. The tent body and the bathtub floor are both made of 10D ripstop SIL/PU nylon that's waterproof to 1800 millimeters of water. The vestibule zips are waterproof, and I've seen a couple of other versions where it has a storm flap, but on my version it doesn't have that. It's just got these waterproof zippers. The tensioners are ITW line lock 3 on all the main tension lines. At the beginning of this video I listed the weights of some of the items, but realistically we want to know what the combined weight of all those things is. So the top shelf that I bought was an extra 9 grams. Each of the Groundhog stakes is 13, and there are 8 of those, so there's a total weight altogether of 814.6 grams if you add up all the weights listed on the websites. If you want to know the dimensions of the tent, then pause this slide and you can try your best to see if you can read the tiny writing. So now you've seen me put it up, you've seen the dimensions and the specifications of the tent. I wonder if you think this is the right tent for me, or whether you think I should consider taking something else, either my Tigerwall UL 2 or my Hilleberg Akto, or something completely different. I'd be grateful if you could leave a comment in the comments box below, and if you like this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.